All right, let's go. Cardboard of the Rings was reached out to by Office Dog to do a review of their upcoming Lord of the Rings trick-taking game. I am very excited about a trick-taking game. So I'm going to do an unboxing, and then we're going to just look at some of the contents without understanding what they mean. And then I'm going to read the rulebook off camera. I'll give a summary of how the game is played, and then I'll give a review of the game after I play it a few times. All right, so this is a cooperative quest through Middle-earth. I love the art style. I absolutely love the stained glass art style. Well done. All right, and then Lord of the Rings, A Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game, designed by Brian Bornmuller. Hope I pronounced that right. This is a game by Office Dog. They're saying it's 1 to 4 players, 20 minutes, ages 10 plus, which I'm very excited about because my kids are ages 9 through 18. So we can definitely get some gameplay in here. All right, let's read the back of this box. The journey begins. Step inside the legendary world of Middle-earth in the Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game. Work together to navigate the story of this cooperative card adventure, meeting new characters and completing special quests as you journey through the first book in the beloved Lord of the Rings series. That is exciting. Expansions to come. You can see some of the components there with the awesome art. Play your cards carefully as a team to avoid peril and advance through each exciting chapter from the day you depart the Shire to the fateful breaking of the Fellowship. All right, some well-known characters there we can see. And then featuring multiple game modes. Oh, nice. Okay, and dozens of familiar playable characters like Gandalf, Tom Bombadil. Oh, I love that. And Galadriel. No two adventures will be the same. So grab your fellowship and let your journey through Middle-earth unfold. 144 cards, 5 tokens, 1 rule book, and there is a solo mode. And then when I got the package, it came with this promo. I'm going to open up the promo after I've read the rules so I can actually talk about these cards with some level of intelligence. But this is the Gifts of Galadriel promo. I'm assuming this is a promo. I actually don't know. But yeah, we're going to assume it is. And then the box, I know this is not a coincidence, it can't be, but the stuffing inside the box came with what looks like strands of Galadriel's golden hair with the Gifts of Galadriel. So I am assuming that was done on purpose, and well done. I appreciate that very, very much. Okay, so I already took some of the saran wrap off stuff because I started doing the unboxing and realized I wasn't recording. So sorry about that. I started to open things up. So I'm going to have to do this for a second time, but that's okay. All right, trick-taking game. I love that because I'm from the Midwest. In the Midwest, we all know how to play trick-taking games. Euchre, Schmear, Hearts. When you're born, one of the first things your dad starts telling the infant is why you never unprotect the left bower in a game of euchre. Like, it is just a birthright to know how to do trick-taking games here in the Midwest. So let's take a look at what's inside this box. Okay, we got the rule book, 24 pages. Scan this code to watch our Learn to Play video. I will be doing that, most definitely. Nice rule book. Okay, lots to read through, but that is fine. Look at, they got all the different chapters. Okay, this is cool. So we're going through all the different chapters. Great, okay, solo. The famous poem. I love this art style. The road goes... Okay. We got some rule changes for 2 players. I'm assuming that's Legolas. All right, very good. Very good. I will be reading through that. Let's take a look at these tokens. Okay, 5 tokens. So we have these 4 smaller tokens. All right, what's this? Okay, cool. So this is pretty cool. That's actually very cool. That's a very nice first player token. Yeah, I am really digging this art style. This art style is absolutely fine with me. All right, and then some of the cards here. Let's read chapter 1. When Mr. Bilbo Baggins of Bag End announced that he would shortly be celebrating his 11th birthday with a party of special magnificence, there was much talk and excitement in Hobbiton. All right. Frodo. Again, I have no idea what any of this means. He's the ring bearer. Looks like a win condition there. Win 2 or more rings cards, 4 players. Okay. And then there's a hammer symbol. The player dealt the one ring is Frodo. You cannot exchange the one ring card. Lead the first trick. Okay, I'm assuming that'll all make sense to me eventually. Okay, all right. This looks like, okay, so we got numbers 1 through 8, hill. 1 through 8, mountain. Oh, I like this. So landscapes, geography. If you've ever read Lord of the Rings, the landscapes and geography of Middle-earth is basically a character within the story. So I'm very much okay with the idea of having geography represented in this game. Why can't I read that? What does that say? Oh, shadow. Okay, geez. I thought this was an M, and I thought, I don't know what I thought. That is just because I'm looking through my phone as I record this. Okay, that makes more sense. So the land of shadow. Yep. Forest. Okay, we got the one ring. Ring flavored card. Okay, then we got some player reference cards. Okay, great. Are they double-sided? They are. Okay. Double-sided reference cards. Oh, and then separate reference cards for the 2-player game. Got some Duel of Middle-earth vibes here. Also a great Lord of the Rings game, by the way. Duel of Middle-earth. Lord of the Rings game is a fantastic game. Okay. All right. Like I said, a lot of this doesn't make sense to me at the moment. Actually, none of it does. Let's see what we got here. So we got part 1, part 2. No admittance. Let's just look at it like this. No admittance except on party business. Proceed here after chapter 1. You know, I'm going to be honest. I don't really want to open this. Do these just flip up? They do. I don't want to open those right now because I want to play this through. Proceed here after chapter 12. Chapter 13. Oh, this is fantastic. So you get to play through the story. Okay. Very exciting. Very exciting that it is going to go through the stories like this. All right. I have to say, before I have started playing this, I am very excited to dig into this. So I am going to turn off the camera and I'm going to read through this rule book. I'll watch the Learn to Play video, and then I'm going to play the game for a little bit so I can understand it, give a review of my first couple plays, and then we'll open up this promo pack and see what's in here. All right, so I will see you in a bit. Very excited, extremely excited about this actually. All right, I have read the rules and I now understand how to play this game, and I have to say, just right off the bat, I really like it. I really like this game. It seems like it's going to be a lot of fun and I can't wait to play the entire thing. It allows for modes from solo all the way to 4-player. So let's break down the base mechanics of the game. Like most trick-taking games, you're going to have different suits. That's what these various types of terrain represent. The hill, the forest, shadow, mountain are your 4 suits. These 4 suits each have ranks or values ranging from 1 to 8. There is also a 5th suit, that is the ring suit. The ring suit only goes up to 5. There are 5 ring cards, and the one of rings is a very special card. It is the only card out of all of these types of cards that has special text. It says, you may choose to win this trick. If you're familiar with games that have a trump suit, this is the only trump card in the game. This can win any trick if the player playing this card so chooses so. How do you win a trick? Very simple. Winning a trick means you have played the highest value card of the suit that was led. If the first player leads a forest, let's say it's the 1 of forest, and then the other 3 players play these 3 cards, 1 each, the winner will be the player that played the 8. The 8 of forest was the highest played card, and therefore that player would take this trick and will be considered to have won that trick. All players must follow suit. That means if you have a forest card, you must play a forest card. Even if you don't want to win the trick, you would still have to play the forest card in your hand if you had one. So for example, if the player who controlled the 8 for some reason did not want to win the trick, but the 8 of forest was their only forest card and forest was led, they would be forced to play the 8 and they would take the trick whether they wanted to or not. If a player cannot follow suit, which means you do not have a forest card in this example, you can play any other card from your hand. In this example, the player who does not control a forest card played the 5 of Shadow. Now, even though 5 is higher than the 3 forest cards played, it still does not win the trick, because the winner of the trick is the player who played the highest card of the suit led. If the 1 of forest was led, the player who had played the 3 of forest would take this trick. Even though a higher valued card is in play, it is not of the suit that was led. So therefore, the trick goes to this player. The ring suit is very special. It cannot be led until it has been broken. If you're familiar with the game of hearts, this will be very familiar to you. This is represented by this token here. When this token is on the gray side, it means rings have not been broken. Once it's flipped to the colored side, it means rings can be led. Here's an example of how this could happen. Let's say we're playing a 4-player game and someone leads forest again. The next player does not have any forest cards in their hand. This means they're allowed to play any of these cards, including the ring card. The ring card is not a trump suit. It does not mean it will take the trick. In this example, they're going to play the 5 of rings after the 1 of forest was played. The next 2 players play the 2 and then the 3 of forest. Once again, the highest card of the suit led will take the trick. In this instance, it is once again the 3 of forest will take this trick, even though a higher valued card was in this trick. The 3 of forest takes the trick, and that player takes the ring card with the trick. Because rings have now been played during a trick, you can now flip this token from the gray side to the colored side. This means rings can now be led. Even though the 1 of rings has the very powerful ability of being able to take any trick, if the player so chooses, it still must follow the standard rules. That is, it cannot be played if a player has a suit that was led. For example, if our favorite 1 of forest was led, and you are the next player, and this was your hand, even though you have the 1 of rings, you also have a forest card, and you must play this forest card. That is the basic mechanic of the game, and it is very similar to many trick-taking games we all hopefully have played. I am now going to go through the setup of Chapter 2, and we are going to play the entire chapter to get a good feel of how this game is played and to go through the rules. Every chapter introduces new characters, and these characters will have their own card text, which could contradict a rule in the rule book. The golden rule: if a card contradicts a rule in the rule book, go with the card. So let's get on to Chapter 2. We will do the setup, we will play it, and hopefully by the end of this section of the video, you will understand how to play this game. It starts off with some nice flavor text. You ought to go quietly, and you ought to go soon, said Gandalf. 2 or 3 weeks had passed, and still Frodo made no sign of getting ready to go. I know, but it is difficult to do both, Frodo objected. If I just vanish like Bilbo, the tale will be all over the Shire in no time. On the back of the card is the setup, Chapter 2, A Little Delay in the Shire, and it lists the 5 characters you're allowed to play for this chapter: Frodo, Sam, Merry, Gandalf, and Pippin. It also includes Threat, which are the 4 Black Riders, and it includes a victory condition. Victory short, finish all chosen characters. This means, based on the number of players in the game, you only need to complete the victory conditions of the characters that were chosen. If it said victory long, finish all characters, this means we would have to complete the victory condition of all the characters listed on the other page of this graphic. You will note that Frodo, Sam, and Merry each have an asterisk next to their name. This means these 3 characters must be chosen by one of the players. You can indicate this by placing the star tokens on the 3 characters that were indicated in the book: Frodo, Merry, Sam. In this example, we are going to be playing a 3-player game. So this means Gandalf and Pippin will not be chosen as characters for this chapter. In a 4-player game, one of the players would have to pick between these 2 characters. I'm going to set these off to the side since I know they will not be part of this game. Give the suit deck a shuffle. You will end up using all cards out of this deck. There are a total of 37 cards. After shuffling the deck, take one card and place it underneath the setup. This is the lost card. In this case, this is a very bad lost card because it's one of the ring cards. Frodo's victory condition is win 4 or more ring cards, and since one of them is already going to be lost, that means he must take all the ring cards that are going to be in play. Slide that card underneath the book. In a 3-player game, each player gets 12 cards. In a 4-player game, each player gets 9 cards. And the setups for solo and 2-player are explained very well in the rulebook, and I would suggest just following what the rulebook says if you wish to play one of those 2 modes. I have been playing solo and have been having a lot of fun. You end up using 4 different hands of cards, but it's not overwhelming, and in fact, I find it quite enjoyable. Each player will look at their hand. So I'm going to have player 1, 2, 3. If you were dealt the 1 of rings, you automatically must take Frodo. If the 1 of rings was the lost card, you would shuffle it into the deck and replace it with a new card. There's the 1 of rings, so this player will be Frodo. Play continues to the player to the left of Frodo, which will be this player, and he can choose to take Merry or Sam. Let's look at the victory conditions of Merry and Sam to see what character they would like to choose. Merry says win 1 or 2 tricks, so that means he cannot win more than 2. So ideally, you would want a hand that is not very good, can take 1 or 2 tricks, and that's about it. Then he also has the setup ability, which is indicated with the hammer, exchange with Frodo, Sam, or Pippin. That means Merry is allowed to take one of his cards from his hand and exchange it with one of those 3 characters. The player looks at the card and then gives a card back to Merry. If he so chooses, he can give the exact same card back. Sam's victory condition is win a specific Hills card, that would be the suit, based on the value of the threat card drawn. Then his setup ability is draw a threat card, exchange with Frodo, Merry, or Pippin. So he can do an exchange as well. The threat card is one of these 4 Black Rider cards that we were told to set up at the beginning of the game. These have values of 1 through 4. You will give this a shuffle, and then the Sam player will draw 1. It'll be a value of 1 through 4, and he must win the trick that has the Hills card with the same value. That can be very, very tricky. In the rare instance that the Hills card is underneath here as the lost card and it is the value of the card Sam drew, you would simply set it aside and draw a different threat card for Sam so he could actually complete his victory condition. It's not an automatic loss. Now right away, I like the fact that this hand has the 8 of Hills, meaning when Hills are led, Sam will win the trick if he plays the 8 of Hills, assuming Frodo doesn't take it with the 1 ring. But we're working together here, folks. Let's not try to sabotage each other. So I would say this player would want to be Sam, which means this player must take Merry. Hopefully there's not a lot of 8s in here. As luck would have it, there isn't. But there is the 5 of rings, which is not great. Once the characters have been picked, and in this instance, all 3 characters had to be picked, so we can move these tokens off to the side. These tokens can be used later to indicate a character has met their victory condition. We now continue with setup, starting with Frodo. Frodo will take the ring token and put it next to his character, and then he will be the lead player, and he is not allowed to get rid of the 1 ring card in an exchange. Sam will now draw a threat card, and then he can do an exchange with Frodo or Merry. The threat card he got is the 2, so he must win the trick with the 2 of Hills. Here is Sam's hand. It's tempting to either give Frodo the 4 of rings or to give Merry a low card that would allow Merry to get rid of a possible high card. I have not played this game enough to really get a good grasp of all the strategies, so I think what I'm going to do is give Frodo this 4 of rings. Frodo takes the 4 of rings, says thank you very much. Here is Frodo's hand. I don't think it's in Sam's best interest to actually have the 2 of hills. It's better for Frodo to play it when he knows Sam is going to win a trick with the 2 of hills. So instead, Frodo's going to give him the 7, which will help Sam take a trick where hills are led. Frodo gets to lead, so he could lead the 2 of hills, hoping that Sam takes it with the 7. Now we go to Merry's setup. He can exchange with Frodo, Sam, or Pippin. Merry actually has a very easy choice. He will give Frodo this 5 of rings. It makes sense for the Frodo character to have it because he wants to win the 4 ring cards. Frodo now has all 4 ring cards, and he will give Merry a low card in return, like the 1 of Mountain, since Merry only wants to win 1 or 2 tricks. It is also important to note that the cards you have in your hand are not open knowledge and cannot be told to the other players in the game. You also cannot show the cards you are exchanging. You are passing them to the other players face down. Now that each player has their cards, we are ready to begin the game. Frodo is the lead player, and remember, he must win all 4 of these ring cards to meet his victory condition. Frodo is going to lead the 2 of hills, knowing he gave Sam the 7, and therefore Sam should win this trick, and he will meet his victory condition on the very first trick of the game. You continue in turn order, which goes to Sam. Sam does have the 7, but he also has the 8, and he is going to play the 8, and Frodo should be able to remember that Sam now also has the 7 of hills. Merry has to follow suit, and he will play the highest hills card that he has, trying to limit himself to taking only 1 trick this entire game. Because Sam had the highest card of the suit led, he will take this trick. And because he took the hills card matching his threat card, he has already met his victory condition. Whoever wins the trick is now the lead player. Sam is going to try to help Merry get rid of some of his expensive cards and lead the 7 of hills. Merry will play the 4 of hills. Frodo no longer has any hill cards, but he must win all these rings cards. He could play the 1 of rings to guarantee this trick for himself using the ability on the card, or he could throw offsuit. In this instance, he is going to throw offsuit. He is going to play the 2 of shadow. This trick goes to Sam, and play continues. Sam plays the 8 of mountains, Merry plays the 4, Frodo plays the 2. Sam takes that trick. Sam comes back with the 6 of mountains. Merry plays the 3. And Frodo plays the 7, getting the lead back to him. Rings have not been broken, so Frodo cannot lead rings, and he's going to lead the 2 of forests. Sam comes back with the 8. And Merry is going to hold on to the 7 and get rid of the 4. Sam will play the 6 of forests. Merry will play the 7, and Frodo will follow suit and play the 5, giving Merry 1 of his 2 tricks. It is now Merry's lead. Merry knows that Forest has been led many times, and the odds of Frodo no longer having a Forest card are pretty good, and he's hoping that Frodo can come back with the 1 ring card and take this trick. So he will lead the 3 of Forest. Frodo does not have a Forest card, and he will play the 1 ring card. Sam will follow suit with the 1 of Forest, and Frodo says he will choose to take this trick. Rings have now been broken, and this is flipped, meaning rings can be led. Frodo has taken 1 of the 4 ring cards he needs to take. Because Frodo has the 3 highest ring cards, he will be guaranteed to take the next 3 tricks, which I will just indicate like this. Sam and Merry are each going to get rid of their highest cards they have. Frodo will have taken these. This means Frodo has taken all 4 of the available ring cards, meeting his condition. All we have to ensure is that Merry does not take more than 1 more trick. Frodo will lead the highest card he has, and because Sam and Merry have emptied their hands of any high cards, Frodo will, in fact, take the final tricks of the game. And this round and chapter is considered to be over because all three characters have met their victory conditions. Sam took the Hills card that matched his threat card. Mary only took 1 trick, and Frodo took 4 Rings cards. This is considered to be a completed chapter, and players would move on to chapter 3. A quick note about the 2-player setup: you do use this pyramid. This would act as a 3rd player. You're allowed to play any cards that have been completely exposed. So in the example in the book, you would be allowed to play any of these 5 cards. Once a card in the pyramid is uncovered, in this instance you've played these 2 cards, you would flip it, and this card is now available to you. And to play true solo, it goes through the setup, which is basically a 4-player game, but there are some special rules. Frodo plays with the 3-player side face up for his victory condition. And when you're doing the exchanges, you only can use 1 character's exchange. You can't do multiple exchanges between all the characters that say they can exchange. You just pick one of the characters and do that exchange. There's also some additional rules. Solo is very fun. I'm enjoying it a lot because I'm playing it at lunch during my workday, and I am looking forward to playing this game with other players, to be honest. The rule book also goes over special cases where, for example, maybe Frodo is not in the game. It also explains what the little numbers at the bottom of the corner of the cards mean. This is to reset up a game and make sure all your cards are in the correct order. And it also has a special FAQ of sorts for each chapter in case you have any questions about how that chapter is played. Let's open the promo, assuming that's what it is. At this time, I do not know how you get the promo, and at this time I also could not watch the Learn to Play video. That link went nowhere because I don't think they've quite made it yet. All right, so yeah, this does look like a promo to me. This is chapter 16 and a half. Okay, just personally, I want to keep this stuff a surprise. I'm excited to play through this, and each chapter will be something new for me. So I don't want to spoil too much for myself. Let's see. So the gifts of Galadriel. Okay, so these are the gifts given to the Fellowship by Galadriel. We got Elven Cloaks, the Belt of Gold, the Bow of Galadriel, Box of Earth, 3 strands of hair, the Light of Arendelle, the Elf Stone, and Lembas. All right, very cool. All right, so this is extremely cool. So after reading this card just a little bit, it looks like this is an additional chapter you get to play. So you would play this in between chapters 16 and 17. So that's very cool. It basically extends the game and gives you one more chapter you can play, which I really appreciate. So that's pretty cool. All right, I just completed Chapter 9, Flight to the Ford. Very fun. Lots of Black Riders out. So as you can see, the game starts to get more complicated. So this is my review of the game. For the size of the box, this little box, you get a lot of game. So that's a real big positive. This is easy to take places. It's easy to store. And it's a lot of games within one box, because what I'm finding is every chapter is basically a new game. Every new character that gets brought in, that's a new game, because it's a new way you have to win. And that makes it very fun, very replayable. As you can see, we got Build a Pony here. Very, very cool. So I'm really enjoying that every chapter, you feel like you're playing a new game. You got to figure out the puzzle of how you're going to win, which character you're going to take. Very fun. Another positive I want to say is I feel like this is a gateway game. This is a good game to get somebody who's maybe just getting into gaming, maybe a younger player. If you have a niece or a nephew that's 10 or 11 and you wanted to get them a game that they could start learning basic mechanics of games, this would be a good one. It's easy to learn, and they learn some good skills for board gaming without being overwhelmed. So this would be a great game to get somebody who's just getting into the hobby. But it's also a great game for those of us who have played lots of games and have extensive experience in gaming. So that is another huge positive. The other positive I want to say is the ease of the rules. It's a very, very easy game to teach. I mean, you can teach this game probably in 5 minutes, the basic mechanics. That is a very good thing. I mean, you want to just start playing a game. You don't want to have to sit there for 40 minutes learning how to play the game. And that's a huge positive For as simple as the rules are, it's a very fun game for as simplistic as it is. But that does lead to the one negative I have about the game, and to be honest, I don't think there's much they could do about this. Because it's such a simple game, and when I say simple, I mean simple to learn, simple to understand, the theme, it doesn't really come through. You don't really feel like you're playing Middle Earth. Like, this isn't like Sam. Oh yeah, this feels like I'm playing Sam because I have to win a specific Hills card. You could probably twist yourself into knots or a fast hitch, as he would say, and come up with some lore reason why this would be Sam's ability. But you pick Sam and you're like, okay, I'm playing Sam this turn. And when I play Lord of the Rings games that have tons of theme, it's a big, sprawling, epic game that takes 40 minutes to explain. And if you're going to invest that amount of time into learning a game, well, you better darn feel like you're really playing Middle-earth. And this is a game that is a simplistic game for what it is, and it has a Lord of the Rings motif put on top of it, let's say. I mean, they really try, they do. And there's some chapters where I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, Old Man Willow, that was a neat way to represent the forest. This is a neat way to represent the Black Riders. And I'm enjoying it for what it is. But if you're getting this game thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to really feel like I'm in Middle-earth, it's not really what this game is. But I'm okay with it. I really am, because I just enjoy playing it. And it's fun to say, hey, I'm playing Strider this time. And that's fine. That's fine for me. And the flavor text. The ring suit helps. The one ring card is the most powerful card in the game, let's say. That's pretty cool. The threat deck. Okay, we have this looming threat of the Black Riders. Okay. That's a small negative, and again, I don't think there's anything they could have done about it, because I don't think that's the point of this game. You're not supposed to feel like you're being immersed in Middle-earth. It's a Middle-earth game that's fun. And when I play a game, that's usually what I want. I just want to have fun, and it's great that they chose Lord of the Rings for this mechanic of a game. And this is going to bring me to my biggest positive of the game, and I've already mentioned it, but the art. I love the art. I mean, it's such cool art, such a neat way to depict all these characters of the game, and it's a beautiful game to look at while you're playing it. And so I'm really glad I own this game now. Thank you, Office Dog, for sending it to me. So overall, very fun. I feel like all board gamers like having a game like this that you can just take off your shelf and quickly sit down and start playing. Even with someone who's never played it before, you just teach them the rules and you just start playing. And that is always a good thing. I can't wait to finish it. I'm about halfway through, and I'm really looking forward to completing this thing and then trying to play it with different numbers of players, because I know the game would feel completely different. And that's another huge positive, is the amount of game you get for the size of the box it comes in. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching the video. Take care. Bye-bye.